It's live now?
Let's see.
East Coast, West Coast, worldwide. What it do? Is it in? Is it started?
No, not yet. I don't see it yet. I'm about to try you on video.
All right. Okay, say stop streaming, stop recording. See it?
Turn it around. All right, that's the, okay, let's see. Stop. It say stop broadcasting now?
Yeah, and it say stop recording. So push both of them off?
Nah, no, they good then.
Okay.
So hold on. Okay, yeah, you live.
I'm on. You can see it?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, East Coast, West Coast, worldwide, Big Fish Live. You know, I have been in my feelings a little bit about, you know, a dear friend of mine's dad, Big Durk, and I wanted to talk about Lil Durk. You know, 35 years ago, everybody used to tell me, be true to the game, and the game will be true to you. Yeah. And I was true to the game, but the guys kicked me out the game. So I ended up doing time and getting out. Now I see Lil Durk is true to the game, but the game done changed. It don't want to be true to him. So now we got to figure out a way to keep him motivated, keep him encouraged, because we have a lot of people that's really trying to learn a lesson and learn how this system is really working and how this system is starting to turn on everybody. We got a new president. Now I see that the Democrats were supposed to be doing what they supposed to done, but they didn't keep their promise to us, and now they is suffering the consequences. You know, I was really trying to dive into what's going on with Lil Durk, and I see that it's a lot of accusations out there, and I see that people are saying different things, and you see how the media actually convicts you before you get found innocent or guilty. It always says you innocent to prove it guilty. In America, you guilty to prove it innocent. Now I see when Lil Durk was talking to his troops, he was trying to rally up his troops, keeping them motivated, and he was saying things that the average person would say, not on a mic, but they didn't went into the privacy of his home, the privacy of his group, his operation, his music thing. And I know they passed laws 2-3 years ago in New York where they say that you can't use a person rap to convict them. You know, when you writing rap, you got to talk about the raps before you put them on paper. I know Jay-Z, he don't use paper to use his raps. And I know Durk and these guys will be talking about the different raps and the different lyrics in person. And these people is taking these lyrics and these outspoken recordings of shooting the rap lyrics to each other. They taking it serious. And a lot of times with these rappers, they talk about the lyrics with each other, saying like, I do this, I do that. And these people is actually taking that stuff serious. But actually, Durk was just talking about what they gonna put on wax. And I see that these people thinking, oh yeah, we really got him now, you know, a guy wore a wire and all this. But man, this stuff here, man, y'all got the federal government, they be trying to, you know, catch a guy so hard and they so desperate, you know, they'll take anything and run with it. But, you know, when you in the studio, you record tracks and verses and what they call them, 15s and 20s, and these guys is just regurgitating their lyrics, what they gonna put on wax. And I know probably he was saying, yeah, we gonna get this done, get that done, you know what I'm saying, this and that. But that's just talking, you know what I'm saying? That's just getting ready to go into the booth and let the lyrics go. Because you know, a lot of these guys, they so talented, they don't have to practice. They just say what they gonna do, speak it out, say speak those things not as though they were, speaking in existence. I know if it was some hidden cameras on me, and I would be found guilty of saying the N-word a lot. Because, you know, I say the N-word a whole bunch, but I'm not going to be saying it on the air. You know what I'm saying? I say it all the time. And I know in my private time and in my private room and among my friends, you know, I say a lot of words. You know, I try not to cuss because cussing is one step away from fighting. But at the end of the day, I don't get on the air and you know, say a lot of words that I wouldn't say in person, you know. But this is how the society is, man. They take every single word you say, especially when you have a certain amount of money and you got people you paying. You know, I think that when you take away a guy like Lil Durk, you know how many people that was working for him, that was counting on him, that was depending on him for working and security and all that. What about those dudes losing their jobs? You ain't say nothing about that. These guys is not going to be able to eat off of Durk, eat off of his talent, because he was taking care of those guys. Now these guys is unemployed. How could you go from being employed for the last 3-4 years with Durk? Now you ain't got no job. You was a security in the music business. You was a companion. You was a entourage, and people get paid to be entourage these days. And now you went from having a job, now you ain't got no job. Now what you gonna do? Because your main source of income has got caught up. But today we're gonna start really diving into Durk and a lot of these rappers and a lot of these cases, because I studied law for 25 years in the feds, and I do have a lot of things to talk about in the law. And the other day I was strolling through some of the videos on YouTube, and I ran across a guy that I was in prison with that have one of the biggest YouTubes on YouTube. His name is Big Hurt. He got a thing called The Prison Talk by Big Hurt. Big Hurt was actually my workout partner inside of Lompoc. And I end up talking to him. I end up going over some things that we was talking about in prison, but he didn't know I was out. And y'all check out Big Hurt, Pen Prison Talk. He's a good friend of mine. We did time together. We was in Lompoc, and I'm trying to get him to bring up some of them old pictures that we took in Lompoc. What other subjects you want to talk about?
Man, so what about any prison story you want to just any prison story? Any prison stories? Yeah, I know a prison story I want to talk about. Yeah, you know, like how we was touching on about that, you know.
Nah, I don't want to talk about that. I want to talk about this guy that I met from Houston.
Right.
I don't remember his name, but I remember it later on. This dude actually had put a lady work in the prison in 11 worked in the kitchen. he put her name on, he tattooed her name on his arm. I know people think I'm playing. His name was, what's that boy name out of Houston? I know a lot of dudes from Houston know about this guy. He actually put the lady, he worked for the lady in the kitchen, and he actually put her name, tattooed his name. He went to the tattoo guy, and he got the girl name put on his arm. And when he was doing the tattoo, the guy say, "Hey man, ain't this the lady in the kitchen?" He started laughing, but he didn't really say anything. And come to find out that he worked for the woman in the kitchen. And one thing about prison, the word get to spreading around, and they locked his butt up. I can't remember his name, man, but I ran into his brother in Pollock. Maybe one of the listeners will call in and tell me his name. 'Cause I can't remember it right offhand. But that's one of the prison stories that I really remembered. It was real funny to me. Yeah, his name was Harold. Harold, I didn't mean to set you out, man, but it was a long time ago, bro. I know you out of jail, but I wonder, do you still got that tattoo? Harold was something else, man. This guy was he was a cool guy. You know, we all worked in the kitchen back then. And old Harold, man, I never forget, man. Old Harold ended up putting the lady name on his arm. Her name was Pearl, and he put Pearl name on his arm. And that was one of the most crazy stories. One of the most crazy stories that I actually really seen and actually was there and had a big kick out of it. Let me see what other crazy story that I experienced inside of the feds after doing 33 years. I really wanted to talk about Atlanta, but Atlanta was a real smooth prison, but you had a lot of guys. He said can't see it. Oh, that's something. A lot of crazy guys that was from Florida, Miami, and Atlanta down there. Oh yeah, I remember this time when I didn't know about this game called Georgia Skiing, and I didn't know that it was that dangerous. I didn't know that it was full of excitement and full of, you can make money off of it, but somebody gonna get skinned. That's what they call it. That's why they call it skiing. And shout out to those guys from Atlanta or whoever created that game. Because that game, man, I've seen a lot of people win, lose, you know, come up from nothing. But that was like a little bit something like dice. I just seen some big dice games. I just seen some big skiing games. I just seen some big 4, 5, 6 games, big poker games, and it's just that the prison have its own culture. I seen a lot of guys in there trying to be entrepreneurs, making clothes out of sweatsuits. I seen some real guys that really know how to sew real good, that can make clothes. Cause I remember we used to talk about different designs. I know Herc was talking about some designs and some patterns and stuff like that. But where else I was at that was crazy. But you know, a lot of prisons, they have a thing for like sports, and I really want to get into sports tickets. I don't know playing, but I like to give odds. I got a guy that ran a ticket in prison for like 25 years. I'm gonna have him on the show, and we're gonna talk about, you know, different odds. Cause I see this thing got big on the streets, and it thing got big. It was big in the feds, and cause people played it like every day, like they had to have it like life, you know. And I wanted to really talk about the ins and outs of gambling. I don't really gamble, but at the same time, it's something big I'd like to talk about. But my team has been winning. Colorado, that's my team. All right, Dion. I like Dion and the team up there in Colorado. Actually, I was in Inglewood for a while before in Denver. I was in jail in Denver before. I used to live up there, but I had caught a case up there, but they ended up dropping it. Then I ended up catching this case. I never got out from that case, but I know a lot of those guys up there. But go Buffalo, go Buffs. And what else you got, K?
Shoot. Oh, man. I know. Now, when it comes to sports betting, right?
Right.
What was one of the did you ever see a situation where somebody couldn't pay and something happened, or did you ever see any debt stories?
Well,
like, did you ever see any crazy debts that couldn't be paid?
You know, when I first went to the prison, they said it's 3 things you don't do. And I lived by those 3 things, and I'm still living. Well, I ain't gonna still live. When I was in prison, I lived by them. And the 3 things was: do not get involved with the homosexual activity, do not gamble on your ass, and do not mess with that TV. Now, if you're gambling and you can't pay, then you're gonna get disciplined. But one thing about prison is this: you don't check nobody in for not paying, you check snitches in. Because if you don't check snitches in, people gonna run around the compound and think they just gonna get disciplined for snitches. Snitches got to get off the compound because they're dangerous. Now, why is snitches so dangerous? Let me tell you the story one time that happened to me. I came from Leavenworth. They said that I had threatened a police officer. And one morning I was working in the kitchen and they said I threatened him. So when you do a threatening, when you have a threatening accusation against you, you can't be on the compound with the same guy that you threatened. So they put me in the hole, and they kept me in the hole for about 8 months. So they sent me to Lompoc. When I got to Lompoc, the guy that they put you in the hole for captain review. So when I was in the hole, they told me, they said, look, man, when you get to the compound one day, they gonna call you down to SIS lieutenant office, and you have to talk to one of the guys in there. So I said, okay. So I was in my cell one day, and the officer say, Fisher, they want you in the lieutenant office. So I go down to the lieutenant office, and the guy say, man, they want you across the hall in another office. So when I went in there, the guy say, he told the other officer, get out here. So he got out there. So the guy stood up and got in my face. His name was Sturgis. He got in my face and said, let me tell you something, inmate, don't be threatening none of my officers and this and this and that and this and this and that. So I'm like, I know this white dude just didn't get in my face. So I see he was in the Marines or something. So I stood up, I said, let me tell you something, man. I don't give a F about you, the prison. I don't give a F about none of this stuff. You know, your officers get out of line, I'm gonna get on them, you know what I'm saying? And we standing up there like, he ain't moving, I ain't moving. So he say, get against the wall. So I got against the wall, he handcuffed me, and they shut the corridor down and took me to the hole. But I wanted to just let people know how dangerous a snitch is in prison. Let's just say, for instance, me and some of my guys, we go take off on somebody, stab them up real bad. And they put pressure on us and say, look, man, dude might die. Do you think that if the guy that's around you snitched one time, you think he ain't gonna snitch again? You think he's not gonna snitch and say, man, I ain't trying to spend the rest of my life in jail? See, that's the thing. That's how dangerous a snitch is in prison, because you don't know he snitched on somebody from this first case. And that's why when I went in that office, the guy thought I was from out of town somewhere, so he got in my face, thought I was one of these other guys. So when I bucked on him, my friend told me a month later, he said, Fish, when you went to the hole, I asked the dude what you went to the hole for. He said, oh, he gonna get back out, but you the only dude that ever did that, because he was reading my paperwork when I went inside of the SIS office, because they know exactly who told and who not told. So when they looking at your paperwork, now they know how to approach you. Because if you worked for the government before, they can say, yeah, man, I need you to be one of my prison information guys. So they already know this by your paperwork. So when you don't work with them because you ain't told on your first case, when something real violent happened and they need somebody to let them know what happened, then they gonna come get you. But let me tell you something about working for the government or even taking a plea deal, snitching. Now, let's just say, for instance, you snitched and you get out of prison. When you sign that deal, I don't know if you seen at the bottom of that deal when you cooperated, Rule 59 or K5, K, whatever it is. Do you know that if something going on in the community where you at, they can come back, they can get on the computer and find out you in that area, and they can make you come to them and tell them information on what's going on in that area. That's how dangerous these snitches is, because not only that you snitched and you got a deal, you still working for them even after you get out of prison, because that's the way they got 4,500 snitches in every city. That's how a lot of these cases be getting, cold cases, thing be getting over, people be getting caught, because when the snitch take that deal and you on the street or you in prison and something happened in prison where they need to know the information, they can come get you and pretty much violate you for not cooperating with them on other cases. That's why when you see so many guys that actually take those deals and take those snitch deals, they never stop working. So when you doing something with some of these guys that you think is legit and they told before, and something, you get back out and you start doing your thing and you get to getting money, and the FBI, the DA slide up on the guy and say, man, we know that Kevin Johnson, whatever Kevin, I don't like to say whole name, but Kevin, whatever his name is selling drugs. We want you to keep an eye on him. And he got to do it because he got a plea deal 10 years ago, 15 years ago. And a lot of people don't know that. So they cleaning up these communities because they got plants inside of your community already. That's why you see so many guys that get out of prison, that get back in the game, they get caught up again because of these local snitches, that's old snitches that told 30, 25, 15, 20 years ago. They ain't stopped working for the DEA. It's just that they on a lot of them went on with their life and everything, but anytime the DEA come back and want to use them or want to get some information from them, they can do it. And that's why a lot of people don't know that. But they got a new thing called profiting, where people tell and they don't get understand everything, but they profited from giving information and get their sentence down. What else up, Kayla? What else you got?
Yeah, what's up?
What else you got?
Goddamn, man, that was good right there.
Yeah, a lot of people don't know that, man, because that actually is a major key ingredient into the DEA's aftercare. You know what I'm saying? Right. You're never off the clock. You know. Yeah.
Now, who's more impactful to the community? Because I seen Young Thug's lawyer brought him on a FaceTime call to talk to up and coming lawyers, and he was like, "We need more lawyers in the world and not prosecutors." So, what do you think he possibly meant by that?
Okay. The best lawyers, man, actually is a lawyer that came out the prosecutor's office. Because Johnny Cochran came out the prosecutor's office. Johnny Cochran used to be Attorney General of assistant DA or DA in Los Angeles. So he already knew the LAPD tactics. So when you have a guy like, what's his name, Gunner, and you know what's so weird about what a Gunner situation is?
What's that?
See, what Gunner don't realize is this. They let him go. They let him get like a little loophole, right? They let him slide through the cracks. You know why they let him slide through the cracks? Do you know that in state court they got cameras? In the federal court they don't have cameras. So in the state court they didn't want to expose the government's tactics. So when they did all of that, oh, we really got him, and they let that other guy out before all of them. What was his name? The one who used to dress real nice? They let him out, right? Oh man, he's supposed to be doing this and that. See, one thing about the government, they got a guy. His name is he's a poet. His name is Gil Scott Herring. He has a poem called "The Revolution Will Not Be Televised," right? And I used to wonder. One day, I went into the chaplain's office. There was a chaplain named Nelson, and he was a Lutheran chaplain. And I went into his office one day. He had Gil Scott playing, and he was saying the revolution would not be televised. And this case is a revolutionary case, but they let this guy Gunner slip through the cracks because they didn't want to show the revolution of the police and the prosecutors getting these rappers, taking them to trial, and showing the whole case on TV. Because when you show the whole case on TV, different times when they talk about bringing different witnesses, the audience get bigger. When they had guys on the stand, and you'll see the viewers go up. They watching the viewers, everything, but they don't want you to see exactly how they hang black men. See, in the federal court, you would have never seen all that. In federal court, you would have never seen them use dudes that actually you grew up with coming to stand on you and make the stand look crazy like this other guy did. But they let Gunner go because, did you remember what was the name of that guy that got on the stand that run the record company? He was crying.
Kevin Lyles.
Okay, let's talk about Kevin Lyles. Did you see when he got on the stand, why was Kevin Lyles crying?
I think it's for the money.
No, okay, that's his artist, right? Why is the record company crying over a rapper or over a guy that's on his label? Kevin Lyles was crying because he knew that when they put you up on that stand like that, that stand will break you down. That stand will make a grown man cry like Kevin Lyles. Kevin Lyles a millionaire. And then what's so crazy about Kevin Lyles is you ain't being charged with nothing. They put you up there just for like a character witness to say where you knew Gunner and them from. Really what they were saying was, Negro, you got these guys using all these raps and cussing and disrespecting women and doing all these things. You're the one really responsible for these guys.
Yep.
Kevin Lyles got up there crying like a big old baby. Man, you ain't gonna do no damn jail. Your lawyer ain't gonna do no damn jail for you. See, that's one thing about a lawyer. A lawyer ain't gonna do one day for you. He gonna get your money. He gonna fly to Cancun, have a retreat over there, come back to the United States, come back and act like he's fighting for you. But he done got 100,000, 200,000. See, because now ain't that many drug dealers out there with all that money no more. So now, what's the biggest next thing up to get money from these black men in America? Now they going after the rappers. Now they going after Puffy. They going after, I went after R. Kelly. They went after all of these guys. See, but when I was in a federal prison, I learned one thing. I'm not spending no money on no lawyer. I'm gonna spend money on the appeal process, because once you spend money on that lawyer, he ain't doing nothing but his job. A public defender will represent you better than your lawyer, because your public defender doing his job, because he got to do his job, because he been put on your case. He getting a little money from the government, but he got to do his job anyway. And then when he don't do his job, why would you pay a lawyer $200,000-300,000 and he don't do his job? And you pay a public defender that try to do a job, because the first thing you bring up when you lose trial is what? Do you know what it is? It's ineffective assisting counsel. That means that your lawyer was ineffective. So if you gave your lawyer $200,000 and he was ineffective because you end up going to prison, that's what you're gonna put on your 2255, because he probably was ineffective, because he ain't gonna do nothing outrageous for you. He ain't going to prison for you. I done seen all of these lawyers, John Gotti lawyers, the biggest cases in America. The lawyer ain't going to jail for you. He's an officer of the court. He's going to represent the government, the United States, first before he represents you, and he's going to represent go by all the rules and regulations that the judge set him up to do. So it's not like he's coming in there, he's just gonna be a dynamic force in your behalf. If you have a lawyer that's so good, why he didn't go to the grand jury room with you, for you? That's where you need him at. You really need your lawyer in the grand jury room. That's where majority of your charges come from. Let's just talk about who's charging people these charges. Who is giving these people these outlandish charges? Is you being overcharged? Undercharged? How is it that you can be charged and see in the federal system, they charge you $100 each count? So you mean to tell me after they charge you for the count, then you got to pay for that count when you get to prison? So you have a fine, a court assessment fine, and you have another fine for the witnesses and all that, but the courts charge you for charging you. You know what that means? You know what that is? You know the court charge you every count they give you? I had 9 counts. When I come to jail, it was $25 a count. Now it's $100 a count, because they went up. When they charge you from the grand jury, they charge you for charging you. So when you get to court, when you get to prison, you be like, the guy call you in the back, he say, man, listen, you have a court assessment. Your court assessment is $300. You be like, why is it court assessment $300? You got a court assessment because the counts that you got found guilty or you pled guilty to, they charge you for that. Now, if you don't pay that, they have a thing called not paying your fine, and they penalize you for not paying your fine, and you only can make $5. You know that? So you don't pay that fine, and then let's just say, for instance, you say you ain't got the money to pay the fine. They gonna say, when we look at your commissary account and your phone count, you done spent $2,000 in the last 6 months. Or you done spent $800 in the last year. So why you don't have enough money to pay those court assessments? And they gonna start taking more money out of your money you get from the street. See, a lot of people be trying to hurry up and pay it off. I didn't pay my fine for up to 10 years. So after 7 years, you don't have to pay it. So I didn't pay all my fines. So I only can make $10. I didn't make but $10 for the last 30 years, 20 years, because I didn't pay my fine. And it took so long for me to pay, they just got rid of it. Say, okay, you ain't got to pay no more. You've been in jail 7 years, so you ain't got to pay that no more. You know how many people they do like that? Put you on restricted. They call restricted. You can't get, they don't want you to spend a certain amount of money, so you'll get spend $25. And then if you don't pay that fine in a 3 month in time period, they make you they make you you spend $25 only on cosmetics. So if you get a job that's making money, you might as well pay the fine because it's 3 months. So you rather pay $75 because you're gonna make at least $20. So you rather pay the $75 because you're making it at the job, but you owe them every 3 months. So you'll make enough money in 3 months to pay the fine, so you won't have to come out your pocket and you won't be on restriction. That's how they double down on people in the feds. You get money from your street for your phone and your computer and your commissary. But the court, they charge you for your lawyer, they charge you for the court fee, and now they charging you for being in prison too. So if you got a bank robbery, they make you pay every month. But a guy that sell drugs, they make him pay every 3 months. They just say you work at Unicorn, you make $100 a month. They take 50 of that if you got bank robbery, because they got a thing called victim of crime. They make you pay that. So if you're a bank robber, you ain't gonna never make no money in the Fed because they take half of it every month. They don't wait 3 months for that. But if you're a drug dealer, they make you pay every 3 months or some other kind of stuff. I don't know about pedophiles and all that, but I know that they take out money out of your account. So sometimes you see dudes in the store, they be mad. You be like, man, what happened? Man, they got me on refusal because I didn't have $25 in my account when they got ready to take the money out of my account. Man, I wish a lot of you guys really understand how this prison system is just dogging people out. I'm not just gonna say blacks, whites, everybody, because the black dudes is the ones really don't be having the money to really pay these fines and everything. Man, they tax you to death on the street. Gas, insurance, child support. Then when you go to jail, they charge you for each count. Then they charge you for, man, it's just so much. Man, you got to go through all that stuff, man. Then you got to make sure you have $25 on your books every 3 months, because they pressing everybody that come to jail. And then what's so crazy about it, they not a collection agency. I don't know if each counselor having so many people on their caseload. And each counselor make each one of their caseload pay that fine. And if you don't pay it, you gonna be on refusal, and then you can't spend no money. You can't go to the store and buy commissary the way you want. Man, it's a big old thing, man. They put so much pressure on us, man. And then you come to visit, then your family can't bring no food, and you gotta buy that stuff out that vending machine. And then the vending machine people, they kick back to the police unions and stuff. Man, this prison system, man, it's a cold, stressful situation. And I don't want to see. I'm glad they didn't let make Gunner go to jail. Then he would have really seen who his friends were. He'd have really seen whoever was keeping his money, how they mismanaged the money. I don't care if you got $1 million, you go to jail, and somebody else got your money, you ain't gonna have it. I see Gucci Man, Kim, she did a good job with his money. She turned it into a few million. But how many women you know that's on Kim Dior's level? How many women can take that money and flip it like Gucci wife did? How many women can turn it into a lipstick, clothing, fashion? When you go to jail, your girlfriend is trying to hang with her friends, keep the same lifestyle, going all over the country, going all to New York and meeting other guys, and with your money. Oh, baby, you know, I got some more money put up, and you keep feeding, oh, you know, the baby need. I see dudes in jail still trying to pay money to their wife or to their girlfriend, to their baby mama child support or stuff. When I was in jail, I look, man, I ain't got no money for no child support. You know, I see dudes come to jail and they get the stimulus check and the Social Security. I mean the people that runs the child support, they take their whole check. Man, these people it just seems like they just want to keep you poor, man. You already in prison, you don't make enough money to pay child support. Then some of them do, some of them don't, but they still got you paying child support. And I don't understand that, man. You know, on the street, you got to pay child support. If you don't, you know, do your thing, that's pulling you down. Then when you working at a job and they taking your child support, that's a lot of money coming out your check. Then you go to prison because you trying to make a little extra money outside of your check. Then you go to jail, they still got the child support on you, then they still making you pay child support. Man, you should have seen how many guys that thought that stimulus money, they was gonna get it. Man, they was taking them checks left and right, then they be like, man, I ain't getting my check. Then the child support people say, we took it. You still owe $9,900. And you be like, man, I seen so many guys, man, that was disappointed, man. I was like, but that prison system, man, you just, oh man, I see why they make the phone calls free. You know how much money that phone calls was making in prison? Man, you got so much stuff going on in that prison, man. These people just draining your money, man. They taking it here, they taking it there. And then the stuff in the store is so high. I remember back in the days, we get a big old bag of commissary for $100. Now, you get a little bag like this for $100. I went to Walmart the other day. I spent $80. Man, I ain't getting number like this. I went to this Latino store. I got a big old bag for $100. And when you're in the store, everything is $4.99, $99.99. You be like, why is everything so high up in the store? You know? Well, they got to do it up in there living off of crumbs, man. I mean, it's just terrible, man. And I don't know when it's going to stop, you know. You in that federal prison, man, you seeing all these guys with these big old bags, see them on the phone, you see them going to the store, and you sitting in there, you like, man, I can't wear them new tennis shoes. I can't go to the store. I can't get on that phone. I'm going to Unicorn. So they don't make you go to Unicorn, but they let you know that you can make up to $200-300. I see dudes come from the county jail or from the jail talking about Unicorn. Man, they make $5 billion a year off of us, off of them. I never worked in Unicorn. Then I see a lot of dudes get out of jail acting like they tough. Man, you was working Unicorn, homie. Oh man, you know what I'm saying, man. I'm just saving. I'm learning the trade. But why are you learning the trade when you get out of prison? You can't even. They don't even got to let you have jobs like that. That's what's so crazy about federal prison is, y'all dudes always make an excuse to work for the people. Man, you know, man, I gotta look out for my grandson. You know, my granddaughter. You know, you always make an excuse, but that don't do nothing but keep your butt in jail. Cause the bigger the factories get, the bigger the things you do in prison, that makes them want to build more prisons. And when you understand that, I would rather work and don't get paid and get 50% off, or either. Why would you? What's up, homie?
What you got going on over there?
Just going live right now, man. What's up with you? Hold on for a second. I would rather not get paid and do 50%, or I would rather not get paid and do 85%. Because you're doing 85%. So if you're doing 85%, you're going to be almost dead when you get out. But you're going to have money though. See, that's one thing about that unicorn. You're going to have a bunch of money in your books, but you got high blood pressure, sugar diabetes, low blood pressure, but you got 700,000 on your books, but you're sick. Now, if you work and they give you halftime, you be better off because you get out still young. But you killing yourself working in factory jobs because you're gonna be too old when you get out. And then when you start using the bathroom in yourself out there, you get too old to hold your mud, they gonna fire you. I just seen that too. Oh man, he keep using restrooms and firing. What up, Wop?
This goddamn me knowledge, man. Cause if you work, you can't work, man. You work till you 60 years old, you gonna die. You gonna die early. You gonna die fast.
Yeah, I'm just doing live, man. I'm letting them know about this prison system, man. I'm just letting them know that. Shout out to my boy T-Bop, one of the biggest hustlers in Fort Worth, man. You know what I'm saying? He's a good dude, man. He was in the halfway house again, but he's a good dude, man. But anyway, he's changed his life around and everything, man. And I'm proud of my man. But yeah, man, I'm just doing a live thing, trying to educate some of these people on these prison system and these snitches and some of these rappers, you know?
Yeah, you know, rappers, you don't want to know what the number one big snitch is?
Which one?
A rapper.
Right. You know that.
I always remember that.
You know, you got some rappers out there, man, that I see that's really doing their thing, man, and they not really trying to get all messed up.
Mm-hmm.
You know, like a lot of the community, because you know we got another generation coming right up under us, man. That's they want to talk that drill. They want to talk about shooting and everything, but they got federal laws for all that shooting and
Yeah. You see Lil Durk.
Yeah, you know,
When you go to the case, when you go to the feds with a murder case, your ass is not getting out for the next 3-4 decades.
Yeah, man. Then one thing about those guns, those are 924 C's. Ex-felon with a gun, that's 15 years. You know. Yeah, man. I was really trying to dig into the prison system because I know you did some time too. Yep. Nigga, see, then one thing, let's just say, for instance, when you get the money, then you got to know how to make the money work for you. You know what I'm saying? You can't be, I ain't never met no hustlers that's like 80, 90. You know what I'm saying? I seen a bunch of them, they got old and they died, but can't make no career out of it, Man got to get some little bread and get on about his business, man, or open up a business or something, but everybody ain't no hustler, though. Okay, I do that.
What you on live on Instagram?
YouTube. Yeah. Holler at me a little later, man. Go get something to eat. All right, bet. Hey, Kate. Yep. Let's see. What's another hot topic, man? We need to talk about. Call my phone. Press that button. East side, west side, worldwide, man. What's another topic, Caleb, we need to talk about?
Hello?
Yeah. I say, what's another topic?
What you say?
You can't hear me?
Yeah, no, I can hear you. I was away from my phone.
I say, what's another topic?
Shit. Goddamn. Okay, so. All right, let's go. Oh, comments. Yeah, so there. Answer. So we got Dutch Money
says, OG, any stories on Calvin Klein from Brooklyn?
Yeah, I told you I was in Terry Hut with Calvin Klein from Brooklyn. He was my neighbor. I used to hear Calvin Klein talking about how much money he used to make in the projects. And I used to always hear Calvin. If you go back and look at some of my older videos, I lived next door with Calvin Klein. He actually was my neighbor. He was in the cell with one of my homies one of my guys from LA. And Calvin used to always talk about how much money he had. And I was there with Boy George was there too. We was all there at the same time. And I actually always used to hear, Calvin Klein tell these stories about the projects and how much money he made. And but you know what's so funny, man? When the guys come to prison, a lot of times, that money don't follow them. So they be in there, you be like, oh man, that nigga ain't make all that money, you know what I'm saying? But then when you get out of jail and you hear about, oh yeah, dude used to do this, because I think they use his name, or that was the character in Paid in Full, I think. But I actually knew Calvin Klein. I heard that somebody, Jay-Z gave him some money when he got out. And I heard he back in jail or something. I don't know what happened to Calvin Klein, but I know I did time with him too. What else, Kevin? Hello? Yeah, I did a lot of time with those New York guys. Come on. Hello?
Yeah, go ahead.
All right, what's another one? You got another one?
Another comment we got. No, that was all the comments, but when it come to New York, I know I know DC was the biggest, but from an East Coast standpoint, was New York ever a big factor in the prison system?
Well, actually, New York and DC, that's the East Coast, and they all in the same time zone. I think I think it's like Texas is 2 hours different, they 3 hours different. But you gotta really understand, New York have a lot of prisons up in New York. Rikers Island, different prisons, but DC don't have no state prisons. All they prisons, they send them to the feds. All they prisons, they send them to the feds. So can you just imagine all of California prisoners come to the feds for violence? And now just imagine if they put all the Texas prisoners in prison, in the federal prison. The prison system would be so crazy because you putting guys in jail that's from DC that have a lot of them, they have drug cases. A lot of them have violence. So when you put guys in there with a lot of violence, not a lot of violence, with a lot of big numbers, you have a disparity in guys that's non-violent. Cause you got a lot of dudes in the feds. They feds. They never been to the state, so they're non-violent cases. So when you have a guys that's with non-violent cases, they have an opportunity to try to get out of jail, to do their time, get some good time. Because now they got the first step back when you get more good time. But if you got guys that's come in the system with no reason to do good, then you're gonna have that kind of problem. And that's what the kind of problem was. You got the guys from DC, they come in, a lot of them was like trying to educate us on like more science, Muslims, but a lot of them was into other things. But then and again, you had some that I really respected the more science, and a lot of those guys that the Moors like Turner Bay and all those guys, because they really always was trying to let you know your history, because they was telling, I didn't even know that the Moors had conquered Italy. That's why you see a lot of Italians, they say it's black, because the Moors conquered Italy for hundreds of years, and they made them stop eating pork. And then when they left, they started eating a lot of pork. Let me see what this guy wants. What's up, dog?
Hey, do me a favor, Fish.
What?
Call Frontier Airlines, and because you might have to get there a little early, because you might have to print out a ticket. It's already paid for and everything. You got your, but I can't long get there, so I'm not sure for your confirmation and check you in. But you might have to get there a little earlier and do the check-in. So right now, see, you got to come a little early for the check-in.
All right, I'm doing a live show right now. I'll call him when I get off.
Frontier Airlines.
I got you. All right. Yeah, hello, Caleb. Yeah. Go ahead. What you saying?
Now we can. Now when it comes, because when you was going through your papers, it seemed like you ran across a lot of good ideas and a lot of business ventures and things like that. What was there anybody who approached you with any good business ventures or good business ideas or anything like that?
Yeah, I really wanted to give the audience heads up on a couple of things. Like right when I got ready to get out of federal prison, I seen how they got a thing called fossil fuel, right? What is fossil fuel? Fossil fuel is oil, and you have to find it. So a lot of times you have these big oil companies, they go all over the world finding oil. But now you see a lot of these companies is putting their money in clean energy. Well, but what is clean energy? You know, clean energy is windmills, stuff like that, turbos and things. But I really wanted to give the audience a heads up on what's going to be the next big revolution in the world. What's going to be the next money maker? What's going to be the next thing that all of us going to have to adapt to? And I know last time I was incarcerated when Apple came out, the computers and different things like that. I was going over some papers one day, and it was talking about Snapchat, right? Where you take the pictures and make all the things. And there was a guy that worked at a high school, and he told administration, he said, listen, if we put some of this money from the school into the Snapchat stocks, in a year time, the stocks is going to go up real high, and we be able to take that money and get the school fixed and put some money to the side for some of these students, different things like that. And they put like $250,000 into the Snapchat. And that was before Rihanna got mad at Snapchat or something like that. And it blew up. I mean, it went so big, right? We missed out on that. I missed out on a lot of, I don't know if a lot of people knew what I was in, when I went to jail, when I went to the feds, what I was doing before I went to jail. I had like 9 businesses, right? I always wanted to get into the stock market. I wanted to get into a lot of things that when I was younger, I always wanted to be business, but now I see that the stocks, I got into Bitcoin a little bit, you know, but I seen how Bitcoin wasn't regulated and they did a bunch of crazy stuff. I still, you know people that did good with that. But the thing that I really wanted to address today and to get the people in our community to really invest in is charge stations. You know what charge stations is? In a few years, it's going to be electric cars everywhere. And if you don't have any stock in those charge stations, or I see Tesla, they have a charge station at the house. They put their they put a big system at your house for the Teslas. And they got the supercharge station. Do you know that they had a secret meeting in the White House? All of the car manufacturers, the electric car manufacturers, they had a secret meeting to let everybody, to let all the car companies know that they finna start. They had $1 trillion infrastructure bill. And the $1 trillion infrastructure bill is talking about electric vehicles. So all of the major companies came together and talk about the future. They gotta have charge stations every 50 miles. Japan and China, they have 500,000 charge stations. America only got like 200,000. So because California, you ain't gonna be able to buy a gas car, or they ain't gonna be able to sell them, but you can still have your old ones and things in 2025 or something like that, 35. But why is it that we can't get ahead of the game? See, because if we don't invest into charge stations right now, we're gonna be, because you got the hybrid cars with gas and electric. If we don't really pay attention to this electric vehicle thing, electric motorcycles, electric vehicles, electric buses, electric planes, electric everything, and we keep putting our money in the wrong things, I think this electric vehicle stock will be, you need to put that in your portfolio. Last time I talked about how we can take the kids to the next level with the money, with the trust fund, the retirement fund, and the college fund. Yeah. But now let's talk about doing something for the next 10 years. Let's just say, for instance, if you start putting up money every month on charge station stock, not buying and selling, just buying and not selling it. And if you can accumulate, you can put 10,000, 20,000, 30,000, whatever you can do to put into the charge station stock, I think it's gonna be beneficial to you, because right now, it's not high, it's not that high. Some of it is, and then you can even buy stock in the battery companies too. I see a lot of the battery companies is getting bigger. Because you're gonna have to have batteries to go into the electric cars to charge the batteries. So I really wanted to let people be aware of that. I know a lot of times we just take everything for granted. Oh man, they ain't gonna never go all the way electric. It's getting there. I've been driving around and I see the little funny looking charge stations. I be like, oh man, it's ugly right now. They got them. I see them at some motels. I see them at different places, but man, you need to start investing in them charge stations, because it's nothing else that you need to be putting your money in right now, because they say Trump is in office and he gonna do all this stuff, but you got to do something. You got to start learning stocks. You ain't gotta spend all your money on them. Just put a little bit on them, a little bit at a time. You ain't gotta. We need to start having think tanks for black folks. I remember when the Republicans wanted to win the White House with Bush, they had a think tank for 10 years. We always thinking about what's on the top of our heads, what's on our feet, what's on what we wearing. Well, what happened if you can't? Everywhere you go, you got to charge your car up, but you ain't getting no dividends from the charge stations. You know what I want to be able to do? I want to be able to go to a charge station and wipe it off. And the person with me say, man, why you doing that? Because I own stock in this. Because they going to be everywhere. I mean, they built a car garage in the LAX in California, in Inglewood. They built a garage with 4,500 parking stalls. Do you know they put 4,500 charge stations in those stalls? Because they know that the new parking got to have charge stations in them. Then they got to have somebody to fix those broken charge stations. They're going to have repairmen, different things like that. And a lot of these delivery services is going to be all electric. Everything going to be, you see all these phones and all this stuff is charged. You got to charge them up. Now you're going to have to charge up your car. The other thing you need to be charged up too, I ain't going to talk about that, but we got to start getting serious about this economics. I sat in prison all those years, and I see us go from, fossil fuels and how high the gas is and how everybody complaining about the gas. But you ain't said nothing about a gallon of this. How much you think a gallon of this costs? This is higher than gas. But everybody want to talk about the gas. But you can't walk nowhere because you driving everywhere, and that's where you spending all your gas at, going and stopping. Instead of you going like a long way, it burns more gas in the inner city than you do on the highway, because that's what they talking about. You get the miles at on the highway, not on the street, not in the hood. But let's start thinking about Warren Buffett. Warren Buffett paid $9 million a day in taxes because his stocks. I watched Warren Buffett when I was in prison. I really found out I broke the Warren Buffett billionaire code. I really wanted to know what he was doing and how he was doing it and how long he been doing it. And I used to study a guy named Reginald Lewis out of Baltimore. I used to study him. Then I started studying Warren Buffett. But I didn't know that Warren Buffett read every book in the library in Omaha when he was a kid on economics. A lot of times, a guy that did a lot of time in prison, I can always sit here and talk about what happened in prison and the stories of the gangs and the mistreatment, the food bad, what was going on. But I studied with some guys that was pretty smart, guys that wanted to teach you things. I didn't hang with, guys that wasn't trying to, I said something earlier, like speak those things as though they were, though they were, because I spoke a lot of things in prison. Now I'm on the street. Now I have my own, my show, my podcast, my studio, but I've prepared myself for this day. I didn't think I was going to get out like that, but I had faith and I ended up getting out. But I wanted to show my family that I wasn't in there, not doing anything. I wanted to be able to have my family proud of me when I got out of jail. I'm not talking about on no violence or nothing like that. I wanted them to be proud of me for my thinking, or what I think, what I would talk about, or what I trying to educate the youngsters, or trying to get people to really understand why we is in the position we in, how everybody else come to the country after us, and we've been here all this time, and how we worked in slavery and didn't get no money. Now you got these illegal aliens working and they getting money. Of course they're gonna be happy. Then they thought they got jobs that don't nobody want. But at the end of the day, we did those jobs for free and didn't get anything. And then I ain't had to pick no tomato. I ain't had to pick no cotton, but your ancestors did, your great great grandmother and them did. But they did it free. Do you know the legal aliens, they really can't work free. They gotta work for minimum wage. We couldn't even get minimum wage. So now I get out of prison after all these years. I read a story on Geronimo Pratt one time. He was talking about how he sat in prison and watched the black community go from calling each other brothers and sisters, king, queen, sister, brother, to calling each other B's and S, B's and H's. Now I see these dudes calling people each other that. But Geronimo Pratt said he's 27 years and seen how our communities went from love to hate. And I try to read 100 books a year when I was in federal prison. I always traded books with people. And I really wanted to make my family proud of me and the guys that I was hanging with. I was in jail, hanging with some cats and things like that. But at the end of the day, I made sure when I went to bed at night, I read. Like my boy out of Buffalo always say, Fish, man, you need to read, man. I used to hear guys say, man, you need to, education and this and that. If you read, it'll open the door for you. I read so many books. I read the Bible so many times. I read so many books that I never got tired of it. I used to just go in the library and pick up books and just read them. Sometimes they was boring, sometimes they weren't, but I wanted to finish. I remember one time I heard Malcolm X say he read the whole dictionary. So I said, if Malcolm X and Don King read the whole dictionary, they have they have nice oratory skills. They real vocal, everything. I wanted to read something that would make me be able to know things and be able to talk about things. So I read the whole Bible dictionary. It took me a year or two, but I did it. It was up and down because the stories and stuff. But it wasn't like reading a book. It was just like studying. But I did that. I could say I did that. I don't really like to talk about stories with guns and different things like that because I know that these youngsters be listening, and I know that it's easier to get a gun than go to school or something. It's how is it so easy to get a gun in our community, and it's not easy to get any other things. And one thing about guns is, if you have a gun, if you got access to it, you're gonna go get it one day and use it. And then you're gonna be in trouble. Then you're gonna be blaming everybody on the street. Man, they don't nobody care about me, and my family left me, and don't nobody love me, and don't nobody want to be around me. But you the one. I ain't never seen a gun shoot nobody unless it was in somebody else's hand. You got to pick that gun up. And the way the gun laws is set up today, bro, I'm telling you, you don't want to be in prison with a gun for a gun case. Because they got a thing called a career offender now. And that's 15 years. I seen guys in prison for one bullet. Ex-felon with one bullet. And I was like, you in jail for ammunition? Like, yeah, man, I got a career offender. I got a gun case. I say, wow. How much time you got? Oh, I got 15. And a lot of times you can't even take a deal. That's the most that's the less you can get is 15. And man, them dudes were stressed out, man. They say the gun wasn't even on them. It was like in a car or down the street or around a corner. But when you in a crowd and the police find a gun, who you think they gonna give it to? You think they gonna give it to the guy that it's pointing to? They gonna give it to the guy with a record? Because if they give it to a guy with a record, he's gonna get more time. Hey, Caleb. Hello?
Uh-huh.
Yeah. What else you got?
Shoot, we didn't hit that hour mark. I mean, if you're still going, shoot,
They just added some new charges to Lil Durk.
Okay.
You want me to tell them to you?
Yeah.
All right, hold on. So, charges added to Lil Durk are 1 count of conspiracy, 1 count of use of interstate facilities to commit murder for hire, resulting in death, 1 count of using, carrying, and discharging firearms and a machine gun, and possession of firearm in furtherance of a crime of violence resulting in death. The indictment adds 2 new felony charges to Durk's case previously charged via criminal complaint, the Justice Department announced today.
Wow, they just charged Lil Durk with more counts. And I heard the guy read them off to me. Do you know the conspiracy is the one that's hard to beat? The conspiracy is the one that's gonna tie everybody together, or try to tie everybody together. What's so crazy is they just got over the Gunner case. I never really seen a conspiracy in the state like the Feds conspiracy. That conspiracy in the Feds, man, it is a monster, man. I mean, they always say conspiracy is when 2 or more agree upon a crime. That's what conspiracy is. And they just came down with one of the most. I remember George Bush say his brother the one invented conspiracy, but he never got charged with it. When they hit you with conspiracy, you know what that means? They going after everybody. Now they trying to tie you in a knot. Because if you beat all the other charges and you lose on conspiracy, you still can get a lot of time. That just making it real sticky with that conspiracy. It's hard to beat the conspiracy because even if you get found guilty of this and that, they're gonna say, well, you still got the conspiracy charges, which is overacts and underacts. That conspiracy, man, I never seen a law that devious. Conspiracy, they had me for conspiracy with the intent to distribute drugs. They didn't say conspiracy with possession of drugs. They said conspiracy. How you gonna say intent to sell drugs? How you know what's in my mind? You mean to tell me you can charge me for having the intent in my mind that I'm thinking about selling drugs? Boy, that's a cold law right there. Conspiracy with the intent to sell drugs and oh my God. That's how these laws are set up to put in a law to make your mind think before you even do it. Intent. I mean, it's a with intent to do it. That's a cold law, because how you gonna tell me what I'm gonna do with the stuff? You ain't got no evidence. You ain't got no evidence with that. Only thing you got is somebody said or something like that, or some numbers or some other stuff. You know what's so crazy, right? I used to sit in prison and see how many people used to go to jail for sending money through the Western Union. You know how many people went to jail for sending money through the Western Union back in the 80s, in the 90s? They would send money, be like, oh, you know, man, I sent 10,000, 20,000, 30,000. And every time you send money through the Western Union, they keep a record of it. And they would bring those receipts to trial and find you guilty because they got the record. And you be like, man, they ain't catch me with no drugs. They ain't catch me with this. Then they say, okay, you sent 80,000 through the Western Union. We're gonna calculate that in drugs. That's how they was getting people in the 80s. Money laundering. Now they say you can't have can't go there and get send money under 10,000 something unless you got to get your social security number. Okay, now why they want your social security number? Because if they go back and say, all right, you don't got no job. You don't wait. How you sending 20,000 or 30,000 like that? And that's how the Western Union, they just sit there and they don't say nothing. They was letting them send all that money through Western Union because they get a percentage of that. Every $1,000 they was getting like $100, $200, and they did that for all them years and never ever told you that you going to jail for money laundering through the Western Union. Then they started the other one called there was another one they had where they was the Western Union ran them out of business because they didn't want to let them get no money off of it, because we was sending money out of the federal prison every day. And they didn't, Western Union didn't want to do it because they was making money, so Western Union bullied him out of there. But yeah, man, East Side, West Side, nationwide. We talking to y'all probably tomorrow. We're going to probably have a guest pretty soon. I'm just probably trying to see which one I'm gonna bring in. I got my boy Big Herc out of Prison Talk. Big Herc out of Cali. I want to do an interview with him. We was in prison together, and there's going to be some guests coming up. I think I'm going to do LaMonica out of Fort Worth, or either lady out of Long Beach, and Caleb.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was talking about that conspiracy, man. Finna wrap it up. I gotta go eat. I ain't eating lunch yet. I wanna talk about, some of the advertisers we got. We got CapCut. We got Best Buy. We got the movie coming out. We got the Spinning Seeds coming to do an interview pretty soon too. And we're gonna be
possibly skits.
Yeah, we're gonna do some stuff. We're gonna do some real fun stuff with Spinning Seed. I think Spinning Seed might be engaged or something like that. I don't know. He be acting crazy. But check us out on the new movie, The Drought. We're gonna be needing some pretty much some participants for the movie. But I got PG Rico going to be playing LA Ron. And we're gonna start shooting a movie. Got a few movies coming out. But East Side, West Side, worldwide. So which one?
Just press stop on both of them. Stop recording and stop streaming. Or stop broadcasting.
Hold on, let me see what that is. Hold on.
Say it again.
Somebody knocking at the door.
Did I just see Tim?
Who? phone go off when it say stop recording.
Yeah, press stop recording or press stop stream.
I just stopped streaming, so that'll stop both of them?
Nah, you gotta press stop recording too.
I did, it won't stop.
Well, it might already stop there.
It said you will be able to reconnect. Your stream will stop and you will no longer be live. So which you got, yes or no?